Hello readers, it's Sasha, and today I am going to be talking to you guys a little bit about some of the books that I have acquired over the past little while. So we have a bit of an eclectic haul here today because I was originally just going to talk about the books that I got in the past couple of weeks from going to Value Village and just spending all the money I don't have. And then I realized that a couple of days before I got injured, I had actually gone to Value Village and I had bought so many books. So I was like, I'll talk about them too. And then I got a couple books in the mail from Rachel as belated birthday present. And then I forgot that I did a book trade while I was injured. And I didn't talk about any of those. So now we have too many to talk about. So let's do that. I'm just gonna talk about them in random orders. It doesn't matter. There's some adult romance, there's some adult thriller, there's some young adult stuff, there's a nonfiction, there's a lot. So let's start. The first book, and the one that I'm easily the most embarrassed that is on my shelf, is The Mister by E.L. James, aka the person who wrote 50 Shades of Grey. Why do I own this? Let's discuss. So I got this in a book trade that I did while I was injured. It was something that we were going to trade over Christmas, and then Christmas happened and it was very busy, so we just ended up waiting. And so I traded 4 books and I got 4 books in return. This was one of them. I was not necessarily impressed when I saw that this was The Mister by E.L. James, but then I was like, okay, this could be a great vlog. So I'm probably going to have a vlog of me reading this at some point because I think that's hilarious. But it is an adult romance, probably like an office situation, kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, but let me see. Yeah, it's a guy with good looks. Why not, right?
Ooh, tragedy strikes his family. Wow.
I hate this. This is like a trope that I just hate. Literally, tragedy strikes his family. Maxime inherits his entire family's noble title, the wealth, the estates, and he is dealing with tragedy because assuming people passed away. And then he's like, but the biggest struggle of all is dealing with the good looks of this woman. And it's just I don't think so. I don't think that's your biggest issue. But that's where we're at. So I wanted to get this one out of the way because I'm embarrassed by her. So let's continue. So I'm officially an influencer for HarperCollins Canada. Yay. So we've been asked to get ARCs, physical ARCs, and receive them,
obviously,
and review them on either a channel or a Goodreads or 2 separate places. So the first physical ARC I've ever gotten is You Will Remember Me by Hannah Mary McKinnon. This is coming out May 25th, so I plan on reading this in May prior to it coming out. But it's essentially mystery thriller because why wouldn't it be? It is about this man who wakes up on a deserted beach in Maryland with a gash on his head and wearing only his swim trunks, and he has amnesia. And for some reason, that is a trope that I can 100% get behind. I'm just yes, amnesia, even though that's really sad, but I love it in books. But he returns to his main hometown in search of the truth, and he uncovers more questions than answers. And there's this girl who thinks she knows her boyfriend until he goes missing. Probably that guy, just a hunch. And then Maya Scott has been trying to find her estranged stepbrother since he disappeared without a trace. Whoa, there are connections happening. So yeah, I got this arc. I can't wait to review it. I'm probably just going to review it on Goodreads and probably Amazon. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really thankful. Thank you, HarperCollins. If you're watching this, I don't think you are, but thank you for sending me this arc. And it literally came to influencer Sasha, and I was just like, who is she? That's so weird. Okay, but yeah, that's my next book. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's very late in the night, but yes. So I also got To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This was on my 5-star predictions list. I think it was 10 books I want to read in 2021, aka 5-star predictions. I think that's what it was. And Rachel from Let Me in the Library got me this for my birthday. So yes, this is a mermaid-esque story. I believe it's a Little Mermaid retelling. Yeah, so it's about this girl who's siren royalty, and she's tasked with getting the heart of the prince, but I think she falls in love with the prince. So it's kind of a darker Little Mermaid retelling. I've heard very mixed reviews. I've heard that it's the worst book, and I've also heard people love it. So I'm excited to own it because I think I'm gonna love it because I've loved every siren trash book I've read. Another book that I got in my book trade with this person who also had The Mister, I have questions about her reading taste, and that's okay, was The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty. So I know she wrote Big Little Lies, which everybody is freaking out over. And for a second, I thought I had Big Little Lies, and I was like, I can freak out too, but I don't. I have this one. So yeah, this is a book about a husband who wrote a letter to his wife, and she was supposed to read it after his death, and it contains all kinds of deep, dark secrets. And this girl stumbles across the letter while her husband is still alive. So that's sketchy. This is an adult chick lit I think that's what they call it. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it sounds good. We shall see. I went to the thrift store for the first time since I was able to drive again, and I ended up picking up a book that's been on my radar literally for years. Like, when did this come out? Just so that I can give you some kind of an understanding. So this came out in 2007. So I would have been 8 years old. So let me tell you how I think I've had this on my radar for a full decade. And that is The Nature of Jade by Deb Coletti. And this is a book that deals really heavily with anxiety and panic disorder because our main character is diagnosed, and she keeps this like camera on at the zoo. Like, the zoos have these cameras like watching the baby elephants, I think it is, and it helps her calm down when she watches it. But then on the video she sees this guy with a kid, and then she ends up meeting him, and he's a single father, and she ends up falling for him. And I've had this on my radar for a very long time, and I finally found it, and I was really excited about it. So yeah. Also at the thrift shop like 2 days ago I got By Your Side by Casey West. I've heard very good things about Casey West, and I feel like the people who I trust their reading opinions also really like Casey West, or at least they like some of her work. And this is the more popular one that I've heard of. So yeah, this is about a girl who finds herself accidentally locked in the library for an entire weekend, and then she doesn't think things could get any worse, but she realizes that this guy is locked in with her, and he is trouble apparently. So we've got a bad boy situation, so that's exciting. And obviously they get together because that cover is romance. So that's that. I think this is going to be a good book. I have high hopes. I don't know why I do, but I just do. Moving right along, the same day that I went to Value Village, I also went to Chapters, and I picked up a book that I'll be talking about later, but I also found a very popular book that was on sale for $5. I had to pick it up, and that was Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I don't know. I first heard about this on a Clockwork Reader's channel, and she really loved it, and I had mixed feelings about it when I first read the concept. I was just like, this doesn't sound that interesting for me. But then I've seen more of my friends like it and talk about it, so I was like, okay, I'll just like have it on my radar. And then I saw it for $5, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pick it up because I don't think I'll ever have this opportunity again. So it is fully this ginormous book. It's got some mixed media elements, and I believe it's like a horror mystery, maybe. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely a mystery because someone was found dead. So I'm excited to read it because now, after I've like owned it and read the premise a couple more times, I realized that I do actually really want to read it. So before all the shenanigans went down and I broke, I was at Value Village again. That is my home when it comes to books. I like going there because we don't really have a lot of used bookstores around my neighborhood. We have a few, but they're all like downtown, and I don't like going down there because I don't drive well down there. The pressure is immense. But anyway, so I was at Value Village and I got The Testing by Joelle Charbonneau, and this is a book with a very, very, very fingerprinty cover about, I believe it's like a dystopia. Okay, so it's about a war that left much of the planet a charred wasteland. The future belongs to the next generation's chosen few who must rebuild it, but to enter this elite group, candidates must first pass the testing, their one chance at a college education and a rewarding career. So that's kind of the premise, and then I'm assuming it follows like a girl and a guy because this came out in like 2014, so we've got to have some romance. 2013. I'm so good. Yeah, I picked this up because I really like dystopia. Like, I'm still in that like phase of loving dystopia, and I hope I never leave that phase because it's a really fun phase. So another Value Village find was Second Chance Summer by Morgan Madsen. I have another Morgan Madsen book and I haven't read it yet. I was supposed to for one of the Goodreads Chooses My TBR videos, but I never got around to it, and this was before I had punishments, so that was exciting. But I decided to pick this up because I've heard really good things about Morgan Madsen's writing from people who have very similar reading taste to me. So I feel like because I really, really love young adult contemporary right now, I feel like I'm really gonna love Morgan Madsen and her books because not only do they tackle like light and fluffy things, but they also apparently tackle some really hard-hitting moments. So Second Chance Summer is just about a girl who runs away all the time, and then her dad gets really bad news and she can't run away from this one. So that's kind of what it's about. I'm very excited to read it. I don't know why I don't have my hood on. This is peak cozy times. Another Value Village find was Truthwitch by Sarah Dennard. This is the first book in a series by an author who I don't actually like that much. So hear me out. I think Sarah Dennard's a very cool person, at least from what I've heard, but I had read another series by her. I don't remember what it was, but I was like 15 or 16 and I really didn't like it. It was like some kind of like steampunk zombies story, and it's just like, it didn't work for me, but I've heard really, really great things about Truthwitch and the whole series. So it's about the Witchlands. There are a lot of types of magic and there are lots of ways to get in trouble. And 2 of the girls there know that very well because they get in trouble a lot. So I really do have high hopes for this, but I'm going in with lowered expectations than I would like to just because I did read that other series by her and I didn't love it. So another Value Village find was The Bells by Danielle Clayton. And I really want to read this. I don't really fully know what it's about, but I just know that it shares the name of one of my favorite series of all time that I just reread on my channel. So I wanted to read this because this is what always comes up when I look up The Bells because this is more popular. It's about a girl who is a belle. I'm sorry, I cannot read. Okay. In the opulent world of Orleans, belles are revered for they control beauty, and beauty is a commodity coveted above all else. In Orleans, the people are born gray. They are born damned. And only with the help of a belle and her talents can they transform and be made beautiful. So I'm assuming that happens. Yeah, I think there's like a competition element if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, but I think it sounds very good and I saw it and I was like, yes, this is something I want to buy. The other book that Rachel ended up sending me was Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, and I'm very, very excited about this. This is about a guy who I believe he's trans. Yes, so his family has problems accepting his gender and there's like magic involved and he ends up summoning the ghost of a bad boy from his school, and that's what I know. Like I know the synopsis, but it's 2:30 in the morning and I'm very tired and my brain isn't comprehending it. So this is what we're going with. I'm so excited to read this. Thank you so much, Rachel, for getting me this. The cover is stunning. Everything about this book is stunning. I cannot wait to have this on my shelf proudly and I love it. So thank you. Another book that I got in the book trade that I did is The Silent Wife by A.S.A. Harrison. Jody and Todd are at a bad place in their marriage. Much is at stake, including the affluent life they led in their beautiful waterfront condo in Chicago, as she, the killer, and he, the victim, rush haplessly toward the main event. Okay, so this kind of gives us a little bit of an understanding as to what is going to happen in the book. So she's the killer, he's the victim, and I guess we're just trying to get there. This book has water damage. Can you see that? I think you can see that. Again, I didn't pay for this, so I don't have too high hopes for this, but I'm still excited to read this because I do like the kind of like psychological thriller, domestic thriller situation. I think it's gonna be good, but it doesn't matter if it's not because I didn't pay for it. Next, I ended up picking up the book. Oh my gosh, this keeps falling down. Next, I ended up picking up the book at Chapters that I mentioned previously that I am reading with the Whiners for May on my channel. We're hosting it on my channel. It's gonna be great. And that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Oh my gosh, this is a thick boy. I'm so excited. So this is a book about 2 sisters in World War II, I believe. I think I want to go into this feeling pretty blind about it because I've literally only heard good things except one person rated it like 2 stars. So I don't care about their feelings. No, I have wanted to read this for a while now. I really like historical fiction, especially set in World War II times. I've mentioned that many times before, and I've heard so many amazing things about Kristen Hanna's writing that I just cannot wait to pick this up, and I can't wait to talk about it with the Whiners in May. I'll leave the Twitter link down below, as well as y'all can subscribe so you can be here and talk about it because I know it's a pretty popular book. A lot of people have read it, so yes. Yay. Another book I ended up picking up is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I have literally never heard a bad thing said about Tiffany D. Jackson and her books. I really want to read more of them, but I got this one because I found it at my thrift store and I just was really excited about it. It's about this girl whose best friend, Monday, goes missing and then nobody seems to like notice or acknowledge it except her. And so she's like, what is happening? I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. And I've heard Tiffany D. Jackson's writing is so powerful and I cannot wait to just be a part of this story. Next, I ended up getting The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This is from my thrift store again. I've heard mixed reviews about this. I think it's about a girl on a train just from what I gathered, but I believe this might have been turned into a movie. I really don't know what this is about. I think she just sees something out the window of a train, to be perfectly honest, but I've heard a lot of things about this. Good and bad. So I'm excited to formulate my own opinion and see where I fall on that spectrum. Next, I ended up picking up an Adam Silvera book, They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. So I guess I'm just gonna leave that down because it keeps falling. So this is about app, I think, that tells you like you get a text when you're gonna die in 24 hours and it matches you up with this like person who's also gonna die in 24 hours and they become a couple. And spoiler alert, they both die at the end because that's the point of the book. So I'm excited. I have heard very mixed reviews about Adam Silvera, but I have high hopes for this one because out of all of them, I feel like this is the one that I've heard the best reviews about, and I really only spent $2 on it, so if I don't like it, it's not a huge waste. Next, I ended up getting a whole trilogy from the thrift store, and I cannot believe that that happened to me. That like does not happen. I never get that lucky, but I found the Young Elites. trilogy by Marie Lu. And I'm a huge fan of Marie Lu. I think her writing is phenomenal. She always crafts such interesting stories. And I'm a huge fan of Legend, which was her like original series that everybody fell in love with. So I cannot wait to read another trilogy by her. I've heard great things about this, and I was so lucky to find it at my thrift store. And they're all in pretty good condition, so this is good. Next, I have a nonfiction book that I found from my thrift store. Actually, Noah found it for me. So this is called Bloodletting and Miraculous Cures by Vincent Lamb. And this is just about a collection of mature and intricate stories connected through the relationships that develop among a group of young doctors as they move from the challenges of med school to the intense world of emergency rooms, evac missions, and terrifying new viruses. This might not actually be nonfiction. I thought it was, but it might not be. But this won a very large prize, and I really like doctor things. I think they're very fascinating. So Noah picked this out. He thought I would like it, and I think he's right. So we got it. 3 books left. We're almost done. Thank goodness. The last book that I ended up getting in the trade that I did was The Favorite Daughter by Patty Callahan Henry. 10 years ago, Lena Donahue experienced a wedding day betrayal so painful that she fled the small town of Watersend in South Carolina and reinvented herself in New York City. Though she's now a freelance travel writer, the one place she rarely goes is home until she learns of her dad's failing health. So I believe she meets like an ex-lover there or something, and things happen. So yes, I believe this is an adult kind of like romance chick lit, another one story. The variety in this is unreal. I'm looking forward to reading this. I have medium thoughts and hopes because I haven't been connecting very well with chick lit lately. Like, I tried to read one this month and I just could not get into it. So hopefully this one will change my mind. Then also I have a book that I have heard very mixed reviews about, and that is The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina. This is in not great condition, and that's okay. So this is about 2 people who seem to have it all: a loving relationship, a wonderful home, and their beautiful baby. But one hot summer night, they're invited to a dinner party next door and a terrible crime is committed. So I bought this exclusively because I'm pretty sure Read with Cindy ranted about this, and if not, then that's fine. I guess I'll just read it anyway. But I could have sworn she ranted about this book at one point, and so I was like, I'll buy it because she did, and it was literally like $4 at a thrift store. So I was like, it's great. So it doesn't have the best reviews on Goodreads either, so I'm looking forward to reading it just to see how I feel. And the last one from the thrift store that I went to is Confessions on the 745 by Lisa Unger. Another train story because we have a theme up in this bit. So essentially, she's commuting from her job in the city when the train stalls on the tracks. She strikes up a conversation with a beautiful stranger in the next seat who introduces herself as Martha. The woman confesses that she's been stuck in an affair with her boss, and Selena in turn confesses that she suspects her husband is sleeping with a nanny. Ooh! But then days later, Selena's nanny disappears. Okay, so this is giving me like You Owe Me a Murder vibes. This is giving me straight vibes. That was a 5-star read last year, so hopefully this will be a 5-star read too. This sounds really good. So yes, that is all the books. That is it. That's all I have to talk about today, which is good because it's almost 3 in the morning. So yeah, I'm gonna peace out now and we're just gonna have a good night. So goodbye. I am back because I did not do my outro. So if you haven't already, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. I do post twice a week and I have some really fun videos that you're not going to want to miss out on. And until next time, bye readers!